Hey Oaks family, Pastor Matt here with you. I just wanted to check in. This is just a word of an announcement that I'm happy to deliver, as well as just a word of reflection for you on this Sunday. So first announcement, I'm happy to say that we're aiming for we're opening the building next weekend for January 10th. So we are going to do an in-person gathering, offering that service to you if you would like to attend. Now, it is limited capacity. We're going to cap that service at 75 people to start off, okay? We're just going to kind of ease ourselves into this. And so you need to reserve a spot if that's something that you want to take part in. I know that many of you aren't ready for that for various reasons. And so that's okay. And so we're still going to provide a virtual service and a virtual gathering for you if that's how you would like to participate. But if what we recognize, and I'm trying to balance understanding and compassion here, is just that this is just a long thing. It's a long winter, and we're not over with it yet. And for some folks that this is really hard, and so we're just trying to balance risk and compassion and mercy and understanding and flexibility. All of these things come into play here. And so we're simply just trying to strike a reasonable ground here that makes sense. So we're happy to say it. I'm happy about that, and we're going to do it super safe. We're still going to have some distancing involved, keeping your 7-8 feet distance, whatever that is. And we still want you to wear a mask, okay? So we're still asking you to wear a mask when you enter into the space, when you're moving about, maybe if you're going to quickly connect with people and visit with people, keep your distance to it and keep that mask on. We're also going to say, hey, you can take that mask down if you're in your seat. Not singing, just taking in the sermon, that's fine. We're okay with that. But please, if you're up, if you're singing, if you're projecting it out, please just wear the mask. And that's what we're asking you to do. And so respect the rules to the game, so to speak, if you can, if you would like to gather. And we're excited about it. So it's limited to 75 people for now. You need to get on. You'll be able to do that through the app to reserve your spot, reserve how many seats you would like. And we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Is this going to fill up? Is it not? And we're just going to take it week by week and see how it goes. And if we need to add the number, we need to add a service, we will. So it's just going to be one service, and we're going to do it at 10 a.m. Okay? So January 10th, 10 a.m., one service. Will be provided, and so you can come and gather with us if you'd like. And we're happy to see you. And let me just extend to you, as one of the pastors here in this church who loves you dearly and who is thinking and praying all the time and doing everything I can alongside the other pastors that I think is in our best interest as a church. I am deeply encouraged by the church. I am missing some aspects to it for sure. But I also want you to know that I reserve any judgment about where you're at in this season. And if you're not ready to come out, that's okay. Like we still value and appreciate and love the folks at home, as well as the folks that are going to come out and gather. Everybody's in different spots and for different reasons. And there's a whole lot of unknowns that we don't know about each other in terms of the different dynamics of our families, our friends, our health, and all of those things. And so let's all of us, I want to encourage you to reserve that and appreciate just what we have and steward what we have. And so we're going to take risks, each of us, in our own unique way, working with God and participation with God and loving our neighbor. And so I'm encouraged about that. So now I want to also remind you of this. If you don't already know, we're launching community groups that same weekend. So the week of January 10th, moving on, we're launching community groups. And so I want you to be thinking about them. I want you to be praying for them. I want you to know, if you're listening to this, I want you to know that if you need a community group to be a part of, please reach out to us. please contact us through the app. Let us know that you want to get connected into one, and we will do everything we can to plug you in, and we're happy to do that. And there's going to be a mixed bag there, I'm sure, of people and how they're navigating group life is both probably in some ways it's going to need to be more creative, and it's going to be difficult at times, while at the same time I would say it's probably never been more important for us to look at that aspect of our ministry. And we just really want to be as rooted into community as we possibly can, particularly in this time, and stay connected, and not just stay connected, but also stay aware of the needs, amongst the community. So how to love people, and how to reach out. You know how to drop something off if somebody needs something. These are just the little ways that we love each other that are so critical, and that happens in the context of groups. I can tell you, as a pastor, it's just never has been more difficult to feel like you're keeping a pulse on the community and where people are at and how they're doing than in this time. And so I'm asking for you to be in a group, and I'm also asking that you ask for God to work through you, and some of you stepping up to become a community group leader. We need those desperately. Please look at me right now. Please listen to me right now. Please, we need you to be a group leader. Don't worry about your qualifications. We'll figure that out. Okay? We will give you, we'll resource you, we'll encourage you, we will coach you. It's never been a better time. And the reasons why is, one, we've got some loneliness, and we've got some disconnection happening, and we've got some anxious folks and things like that, and hurting folks. So there's their need. But then there's also this, like, everything is just like the bomb's gone off and everything's crazy, and it's been chaos for almost a year now. And in some ways, it's kind of like none of us know what we're doing, and we're all trying to figure it out. And if we could just embrace that, if we could all be humble enough to say, hey, we're all beginners in some way right now. Even at a pastoral level, I can tell you, it's just like trying to figure out how to navigate different technologies and Zoom and speaking to cameras now. I mean, there's just so many elements of this thing that are new for everyone. So in some ways, it's like the pressure's off, brother. The pressure's off, sister. It's like this. I don't want to say the standard's been dropped, but it is kind of like the expectation of like what it means to be crushing it in something. It's just like, can we give each other a break? Like, it's just not that easy to maintain whatever we considered or we conceived as excellent previous to this thing. This thing has just been fraught full of mistakes and unknowns and uncertainties, and we do the best we can. And I don't know about you, but we encouraged the church last weekend on the 27th, and we're encouraging the church this weekend to do time of reflection as opposed to kind of a virtual service. And because I wanted to give time off to key leaders and staff, and I hope you understand that. And if you don't, I think if you tune in, you will understand why that's such a critical thing for us to look at other people and how they might be tired, and then extend our generosity to them. But what we've asked you to do is to spend some time in reflection, discussion with family and friends. And I hope you're able to do that. And I wanted to read something to you. This is Henry Nouwen wrote this, and this was in his book, Bread for the Journey. Just kind of something to engage us this particular weekend. Something to think about as we enter into this new year. He writes this: nobody escapes being wounded. We all are wounded people, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. The main question is not, how can we hide our wounds so we don't have to be embarrassed, but, quote, how can we put our woundedness in the service of others? When our wounds cease to be a source of shame and become a source of healing, we have become wounded healers. Jesus is God's wounded healer. Through his wounds, we are healed. Jesus' suffering and death brought joy and life. His humiliation brought glory. His rejection brought a community of love. As followers of Jesus, we can also allow our wounds to bring healing to others. Now, here's why I love this idea. It's been a hard year, right? A hard year for me, hard year for you, I'm sure. It's not over in terms of what is difficult, you know. There's still this kind of pandemic thing looming, and, you know, we have to navigate that still. But as I've asked the church to take last weekend and this weekend to kind of reflect over the year, what God has done in you, what's been difficult, what have you missed, how have you been loved, and, you know, kind of just sorting through those kind of questions in your own heart and with your family and friends. I hope you've done that. But what I would love to see our community do in terms of leaving this past year and entering into this new year is to be able to become a people that are so honest. Like we can recognize, we can look over our year and look at who we've been and how we've handled ourselves and conducted ourselves and how we've responded to the moment, the difficulty of this thing, and just see it for what it is, and just raw honesty, just recognize the missteps, recognize the little wins that we've may have achieved as well, and, you know, and not look back on it with all this shame and guilt, but look back on it with some woundedness. And here's what I mean. Like, some of us might look back on the year, and if you're honest, you might be able to say, yeah, I think I've been a little rigid. I think I've been a little, you know, heavy-handed, heavy judgmental, like, towards people. I feel like I haven't been open to try to understand different perspectives, and I've been driving my own ideas and agendas hard on the backs of other people. Just inflexible. Now, and then you might look back on the year and you might be like, yeah, I feel like maybe I did let fear be the axis at which my entire world operated around, you know, but whether it was COVID or something else. Like it became something not just that I was a little worried about, but it became something that literally controlled my entire life. And I did let fear dominate me and all of my decision making. And here's the thing, we can look back in these things on this year, and what I would encourage you to do is not look back on it with this like be humiliated and shame. No, I mean, let's be honest, look back on it as Christians and then say, oh man, there's woundedness, like I'm wounded from the suffering as well as the sin in me and the struggle and the confusion. And the reason why is because I think if we could all, as a community of individuals, recognize how we've all been wounded, it can lead us into compassion. And it can lead us into a place of really like being easier on each other and reaching out to each other with forgiveness, and also just with like encouragement, picking each other up, hopeful about the new year and what God can do through a group of people that get filled with humility and compassion towards one another. Even when we disagree about how to handle things or how to conduct ourselves still, but if we can just fill ourselves, if we can soften our hearts with compassion. This is, of course, what God has taught us in Christ. And so this would be something, man, I hope as this last weekend kind of, comes to a close, where we didn't have a quote unquote service, but just to reflect on that. Let's enter into the new year amongst many things, but as one of them, deeply compassionate people. That would be my hope, and that would be my prayer. Okay? So, love you and praying for you. Please get on if you want to be, if you feel like, man, I'm ready, I want to be a part of the gathering. I know it's been back and forth this year. It's been difficult. It's been difficult for me. It's probably been difficult for you. But next weekend, January 10th, we will have a gathering at 10 a.m. Reserve your spot. If not, tune in. That's okay. I'll be happy to have you. We're doing everything we can with our team to continue to improve of the tech part of that service, so that we don't have to take that away, but yet just actually make it better and better and better. So be praying for that. All right. Please reach out to us if you need anything, if you need a community group, if you want to become a community group leader, whatever it is that you need, please reach out. We'd be happy and thrilled to help you. Praying for you. Peace be with you.